get down on the.
Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though, so go, slow, back my logo, for show, pogo, now get down on it.
Yeah. Starts with a feeling, and you ride it right away. Crash into the sparks can come together. Don't need a reason why the universe was made. It goes on and on and on and on forever. And it's a long flight on this battle star where we fight for love no matter where we are.
Let's go to Adam Schefter with more to say about Rivers.
This is a player that many felt could be a solid role player in the NFL, but not a dominant force. That train of thought changed after one of the best defensive performances the College All-Star Game has ever seen. At times, it seemed as if he were everywhere on the field during the game, disrupting both the run and pass game for the opposition. Several scouts I spoke with pointed to that performance as evidence he could dominate at a high level, and sources have told me that more than one general manager felt he was the type of defender you could build a franchise around. Now all that's left for him to prove is if the All-Star Game was an aberration or a sign of things to come.
I love the way the stars are all aligning.
Jennings just been picked up, Adam. What's the latest?
Entering the season, he was the surefire #1 ranked wide receiver according to several experts, including Matt Miller. As the season wore on, a series of inconsistent performances had this ranking in doubt, with several other top performers jumping him. Even after a superb performance late in the season that saw him record double-digit catches and over 200 yards, he still couldn't gain much ground on the leaders, ending the season at the #4 spot in Miller's wide receiver rankings. He's demonstrated he can make the big plays, but the jury is still out on whether he's the type of pick that can develop into the NFL superstar he was considered just a year ago.
You got me like, you got me like, and ooh, with all the things you do. Yeah, anything and everything I make you feel. Well, honey, I'm feeling with you. Girl, you got me like, come on. You got me like, you got me like, you got me like, I'm feeling you. Yeah. You got me like, you got me like,
Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit back down. Seem like everybody nowadays, Hollywood.
The Oklahoma City Nighthawks are now on the clock.
How to act now. I'ma show them how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show them how to act. Okay, now picture little Bobby, just a youngin' running around with his man's in his hand, feeling like a man. Run, put it to your brain like. Everybody know you ain't about it. Everything you talk about, I know I can live without it. Red light, stop, green light, go. Everything ain't what it seemed like. I know. Hold up, what you mean? Where you been in? This is merely the beginning again. What you been living in? The box under the bridge, like Anthony Kiedis, looking for something to complete us and maybe lead us. A long way from equal is how they treat us. Body of a builder with the mind of a fetus. Turn on the television and see the vision they feed us, and I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something, everybody love, everybody know how it go. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something, everybody love, everybody know. I've been knocking dough down like it witness. God is my witness, I'm witness, but on the real I think I need another witness. If it was 17 like mama wouldn't change a thing. Light skin certified as a house. Go figure, in my blood is the venom master. It's like the devil playing space with the pastor. But he was born with the privilege. Man, what the fuck is that? People told me as a child, as a little boy playing with his toys, I should be ashamed. And some people look ashamed when I rap, like my great granddaddy didn't take a to the back. Not accepted by the ghetto. I don't give a praise God, I can see the light. Everybody talk about race this, race that. I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people. Everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know how it go. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know. Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
The Vikings have made their selection, and it's Buchanan.
This guy was one of the most targeted receivers in the red zone in all of college football last season. And all those targets helped him set a new school record for receiving touchdowns this season. This guy is the definition of a red zone threat, using his body control and sure hands to make a play on the ball no matter how tightly covered he was. He was sure to bring in at least 1 or 2 touchdown passes a game, with some of those coming in clutch situations. This team has been looking for help in the red zone, and it may have found it with this receiver.
The Jaguars have made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
His team had one of the best rushing defenses in college this season, and he's probably the biggest reason why. Teams eventually abandoned the run game altogether after they averaged only 1 to 2 yards per carry in the first half. Among linebackers on the team, he would always lead the point of attack, penetrating the opposing team's offensive line. Every tailback that lined up against him seemed to keep one eye on the handoff and the other searching for him. And usually when they found him, it was too late to react. He's one of the best tacklers to come out in years. Hopefully, he'll get on the field soon and help them stop the run.
Okay, now we back to square one. It's hard to square up. Everybody got come, mama cries, dead sons, Lord please bless them. Back to the party, I'm just pouring my. Don't get faced that before, so I live it up. When a come, better get them up. That's a floss track, better get them up. I'ma keep eating this a dinner rush. I'll let you finish up. Flock of diamonds, I can promise I'm being honest. This being modest. I am your highness. I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar. Don't idolize and I don't admire. Been doing me for like ever. I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new way. We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain, baby. Let's take a ride. Put your for the ones that die. It's vows tonight. Just you and I get lost tonight and lose your mind. Squad, I'm it. 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 Squad.
The Falcons are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Houston Gunners are now on the clock.
I done came up, busting down the whole broke, step back. Want your people swag. You ain't even gotta ask. What are those? What is that? Please don't touch my rap. Please don't touch my rap. I'm racked up like rappers. I'm wrapped up on camera. Hit out on camera. Squeeze like asthma. It's rare wrath when I wear wrath. Bear wrath when I wear wrath. Might invest into some rap shit. Lord, still shit rap. And I'm dripping on rags. Brick gonna be the tag. Do the digital dash. Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Alessandra Gucci glasses. The W Anderson collab. Yeah, you probably like it. Yeah, you drop it on the. I'ma buy another. Cause boys bring it back. Yeah, you know how to make it laugh. Plus, keeping tabs. I'ma fly first class.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Please don't touch my rap.
Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Do you know how much I'm spending? My closet, it worth about $1 million. To the little of the runway. Then the kitchen. Ralph Simmons. All kind of crazy colors. Living color. Left wrist. Roll it. Ice. Mason Margiela, my sweater. Mama told me never settle.
Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the Steelers' last pick.
Nobody really knew about him until he was asked to fill in at the All-Star game for an injured player. He came to the first practice, and from that moment on, he was the center of attention. He played lights out and looked to handle himself really well, matched up against top-tier talent. He stole the show and left the All-Star game shooting up draft boards around the league. The coach is going to love having a guy like him on the team, and I can't wait to see what he does when the season rolls around.
Color Uzi, yeah, he made it. Yeah, I wear that rapper, I made it. Yeah, I wear that rapper, I made it. Yeah, got that rap all in my basement. Yeah, once I got patience. Yeah, I'm famous. Yeah, put my side Mark Jacob. Hey, making a place with my label. I get it, I count it. 100 on my table.
Sterling silver laces. Rubies red, my skin too black to blush, too red to six, not pages. This ain't on the.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
A skilled running back with a nose for the end zone, his draft stock got a shot in the arm after setting a team record for single-game rushing touchdowns. He's a unique mixture of speed, power, and agility, reminding some draft experts of Emmitt Smith. Sources I spoke with absolutely love his linebacker mentality, refusing to go out of bounds and taking on defenders in hopes of extra yards wherever and whenever possible. He should see immediate action in the preseason and compete for the starting spot.
With the Teddy.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Please don't touch my ride. Shirt off, I'm
Look, it's another Manning. He's just been picked, Adam. What do you know?
While he showed potential in school, he turned in one of the weakest performances of the defensive linemen at the All-Star game. Anytime he was on the field, they lost the battle in the trenches, giving up rushing yards and giving the quarterback plenty of time in the pocket. Matt Miller told me he got stood up by any offensive lineman he was matched against, and struggling to get off the block removed him from a lot of plays. He needs to develop some moves if he's going to get by blockers. You can't just rely on strength alone anymore, especially not in the NFL.
I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen. Spent about 60 on the time, I can't even lie. No way in, no way out, do or die. So on roll, when I roll, must be. Amen. Amen.
I can't ride Benz, I don't do peace. I beast, I gotta eat. Saber tooth, tiger, diamond tooth teeth. Rockin' right now, won't you come peep? I was outside. The way that shake, leave your mouth wide. You need to say grace for you say thanks.
Amen. Amen. What's left in my life, don't know what's in store. I've been dealing with these blessings that I can't ignore. Putting up the numbers, we ain't keeping score. Amen. Amen. I on the block, my side. Run it in the house for us 12 o'clock. Yeah, the hood love me, but you gotta watch. Amen. Amen.
I just three, I don't do sleep. Yeah, tryna see. UV. Yeah, we gon' fall through, coming through deep.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, packed it from the south, moved it to the west. Iced the logo on the cross, threw it on my neck. Yeah, when I rep the set, gotta stay blessed. Yeah.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
When I ask scouts around the league what his biggest asset is, they always point to his father. His dad is a high school coach that knows how to consistently finish in the top of the school's division. And ever since he was able to walk, he's been on the sidelines for every game. Even after he leaves practice at night, he's still getting advice from his dad at home. And from what I've heard from scouts who watched him play, you can tell the extra coaching has helped. Even during interviews at the Combine, I was told by several GMs that he was one of their favorite players to talk to. He has his dad's eye for the game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him become a coach one day himself. I like him a lot, and he'll be a great addition to the team.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I'm a running man, sandals slipping off my feet on the sand, counting up the bills with my dominant hand. Yo, choose up, take this, appreciate it.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Tear up the rim shot. I'm going global, coast to coast like my G.I. Joe present. I've yet to see a Cobra. So off my rocker got me sipping club soda. Some bombs never go off, some stars never blow up. I'm pitching in, never in the dugout. Reaching in my and I can't take a head count. Flashback, 03, things was looking run down.
The Houston Gunners are now on the clock.
It's a luau, killing like 10 counts. Y'all know how we get down. House with the fence around. Y'all know that we en route. Transition from the Impala to the Fisker. I should charge admission for that to get the dessert. Left the doors up, now the Lambo has pigtails. Since you getting comfy, I'ma let you sit there. I'ma let you stay there. When I shed a tear, they didn't have no care. So I'ma charge retail. I brought some cause you say you want sick. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day. What the no tuck? Sway Lee Winter Magazine, double XL. Floss with your Gucci on. Dipped in colors burst on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man. Seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand. I got some guys that throw it back and make me drop the cans. I told Ben Frank just to drop a pin. I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in. It all depends. Junior high, I was dreaming of a 10. I'm coming clean though. I mean, not a spec. My girl be serving looks. I can the chef. Katana sword popping out my walking cane. I'm overseas, my Cali Bay like how was Spain. We getting to the money and you having issues. I bought a and it came with a wetsuit. The Buddha left me without breath. I really am a mess. I'm mooching off myself. She be hoping that I take a knee. Yes, I be open to that shrimp life.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
We exist. Love the kicks and we love the hits. All in the house and I'm wrecking. If I sleep, I'm a wrecker. I'm in my own world. Throw the money up and make my own weather. Mommy playing tether on leather. Money talk, it's a lecture. 80 pointers dance on me, it's electric. Don't hate, I'm still unaffected. Chipper on my shoulder, I move undetected. She said, pop the question got deflected. Man, them ain't my boy, then my brethren. Let's cut to the chase. It's only on the house when we in the place. My used to lava boys got it up in some flames. Stirring up the cup with my wrist souffle. Shaka Zulu chains with my name engraved. I told you on swing, don't say my name in vain. We bring it to your door like, you rang? Spending all the money, then we watch it boomerang. With the Fendi belt, angry face like, put some gold on my fingers, neck, and shoestrings. Long time no see, that's what they say when they see me, man. I've been going crazy just to stay sane. Hey, your girl went missing, who's to blame? Young whippersnapper with the range. Pause, then I went to range. Call that hottie on my stage. Long week, but a great day.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know. Tell a hater get up out my face. Yeah, I've been ballin' since like yesterday. Yeah, all this money all up in the way. All this money in the way. You know that I'm walking with the bank. Yeah, water diamond on my ring. You know that I'm rockin' feel the blue.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Browns' latest pick.
He's one of the few receivers in college that no matter what sort of coverage you threw at him, he always came away with the ball. A great example is one of his impressive touchdown catches that has been on highlight reels ever since. It was late in the game, and the defense knew who the quarterback was going to target. He was surrounded by 3 defenders when his quarterback put the ball in the air, and even though he was completely swamped, somehow he managed to pluck the ball right over the defenders' heads. He isn't the biggest receiver, but he has the ability to stretch and make the play, essentially making him a larger and taller target and a real threat in the red zone. I think this team got a possible difference maker at receiver.
Looking at my chain on my diamonds right hard. Turned the way up, I ain't getting tired. And if you wanna race, then we gonna ride. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
Matt Miller was glued to the ongoing soap opera that was his story this season. A pure pass rusher, he couldn't quite seem to play with the same intensity on a week-to-week basis. Some weeks he looked absolutely unstoppable, terrorizing opposing quarterbacks. Others he looked out of place, struggling to make any sort of impact, even taking himself out of the game multiple times in fits of frustration. Some GMs I spoke to felt that his lack of consistency was due to a lack of maturity, something that can be easily addressed by the right coaching staff. This pick could have tremendous upside or could end up as a what could have been story. It should be interesting to see how this saga plays out.
Looking at my body feeling miserable. Always hanging on to the visual. I wanna be invisible. Looking at my years like I'm martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be enough on the prodigal son. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, word upon your lip.
The Chargers are now on the clock. The Brooklyn Yanks are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. Adam, Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
Every GM I've talked to has told me that their eyes lit up every time they watch film on this guy. He was such an offensive weapon in college that he often saw a team's #1 and #2 cornerbacks line up against him, and he routinely dominated them. Not only is he an outstanding receiver, I've heard from many scouts that he's one of the better blockers they've seen in this draft class, including offensive linemen. He's a guy that's going to get a lot of reps in training camp and a chance to make an immediate difference on this team.
I'm just a symbol to remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system of catastrophe, and yet a masterpiece, and yet I'm half diseased. And when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily, and leave the body of my soul to be a part of me. I do what it takes,
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes, 'cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
I do what it takes.
The London Monarchs are now on the clock.
Reynolds is now off the board, Adam. What do you have on him?
A common complaint scouts like Matt Miller had was his dependence on raw power rather than proper technique. He tested well physically at his pro day, moving fast and displaying some strength. But in swim and rip drills, his hands looked slow and he relied more on his weight to move through the drill. If his technique doesn't, he may find himself getting locked up by linemen and unable to break free.
Got the streets all I need, we're going hey, 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 hey. Keep running, keep feel the flame. Hold on, I can make it rain. Oh, do you hear the thunder? No, don't let it bring you down. Look up and see the light. You're not alone, don't give up like that. Oh yeah, got a ways to go. Break that wall, let the spirit flow. I know you ain't done yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. We're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Keep running.
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Houston Gunners are now on the clock.
Rather you than me. If you've been with me from Port of Miami, it's been a journey. Ain't nothing changed. A little stronger, a little wiser. Maybe a little more. Blame it on America. I'm pulling off the lot, I bought the cash. Whoa. Her future bright, don't give nobody bad. Whoa. Be looking good inside the whoa. But I noticed that she missing all the edges. Whoa. I run the game just by running with the whoa. Poor attitude, they got rich calisthenics. Whoa. Walking in the courtroom, sipping on the beverage. Whoa. I know the judge, so I got a lot of leverage. This is fetish. Fully loaded on the 7. Your dog did a damn, you never wrote a letter. Whoa. Still in the box, got a rap in acapella. Whoa. Kim Treasure, people with the weather. Whoa. I got it, boy, don't make me be the devil. Whoa. He knocking on the door and know the password. Gave me his blessings while I'm hotter than the last verse.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead president, hit them dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents. Dead presidents.
The selection is Thornton, Adam. What do you think?
Every year, a handful of prospects turn down their All-Star Game invitations, so a second round of invites are always sent out. He's fortunate to have been one of those last-minute additions this year, and he didn't take the opportunity for granted. He was the guy all the scouts fell in love with all through practices and game day. His performance was impressive enough in the game to slowly creep up the NFL draft boards, and he's being taken here, which is much sooner than most experts predicted.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Get the clutching on that, ain't no dance moves. I was posted on the stoop, hanging with my Haitians. On the news, on front pages. Ain't no relations. I was stacking being Franks and Boston. 2 times in a row, that's a repeat. You end up, cause they easy. I'm in the breezy. She love me like she need me. I got my Maybach flooded out with extra TVs. I make up every single day. I judge a vulture when I flip the padded face.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents. Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
Fast. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Hands on me, got the yellow brace. Check off in my pocket like the yellow paste. Was what I was asking. Low facility, I keep it classy. Build an empire, yeah, that was my state of mind. Yeah, that was my state of mind. Keep the blocks over there, we call it Lego Land. Meanwhile, it's like it's Amsterdam. Boy fresh, you know who got the trophy. 16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like I'm never ride in the extra car. Dead president.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Dead president, hit them dead president.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead president, hit them dead president. Dead president, hit them dead president.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Wanna come round there like a bad boy, do it. Want all the talking, go on and do it. Running through the party, bottle up. Rolls on my ear saying storms, don't do it. Double on my shoulder, I don't lack. Get in with the business.
The Giants are now on the clock.
see right, but there's no car and no match. What you talking about? Clown, stand down, never had a thing, never had a pound. You were never bad then, you ain't bad now. Never had them, then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wait.
The Browns are now on the clock.
My thing, they went silent, they're all weirdos. Like, yeah, Storm's gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them I can't, but you see my done there. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my creps. I'll still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You ain't ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family thing, straight family thing. Dumb man, I broke no salary thing. Had a young team.
I see both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
You were like art and the gallery thing. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to twist up the truth. How dare you twist up the truth? Look, I'm too hot. I got money in my
The Texans are now on the clock.
my show sold out like the brother from the Boondocks. Beat Swan in my boombox. Still meat from the stew pot. Man, I'm go sick when my tune drops. Little man, that's a hooplo, not a hoopla. What? Pronounce it right. I got magic, I'm down to die for this. I don't care, bro, I'm down. Man, stress, so I'm bound to like my sway.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
G's gonna ride around to this. Man, I got no time to write at this. I never left my 9 to 5 for this waste man thing. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big to rebel. I was in the O2 singing my lungs out rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down at my mum's bit. Man, I'm getting way too big for my shelf. Man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got grown men at me. You're getting way too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for a diss. Should've looked after your kids. Get out the booth, go home to your son. It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in a random flight, get a plane to Qatar. This year I learned how to take care of business. Next year I'll learn how to play the guitar. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to twist up the truth. How dare you twist up the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to twist up the truth. How dare you twist up the truth?
Legging with Nick, we dump it off like V. Ramonovic. Sorry, homie, you know we not friends, it's all for politics. Politics never get to see who really running. Now you know who running. You rappers on punishment. Papa dog, they be lying on they rebel. Everybody scared of Lil Linky, man, is evident. Feeling like 50 way back in 03 OD. Talking about me on some other 301 screaming 4-4 on my Louis. Papa tags by the mode on they dummy. Pretty much for a gold.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
We had a go-go last week. We don't really care who got last week. Riding under me, the blog and really bumping me. Cause I'm bad. You don't want no problems with a GD, CPG. I'm the king of the streets. I never had to struggle when it to a beef. Always 10 toes, so it's hard to defeat. And trust me, I've been looking hard for a beef, huh? He ain't rapped this hard in a long time. You street, all Vita dudes and eyes. Homie, always say to the guys on my life, been addicted to the power, ain't gon' lie, yo. Ain't no fear, I'm never willing, put the up in yo. Ain't no telling when we do it, we just didn't get ya. Got a bad thing, it ain't lie. Why, with some
The Browns are now on the clock.
outside, bumping north with a dick. When I was a baby, I was wildin' for respect. You gon' get your with the set. Around here and talk crazy, you get we ran so many out of here. Wonder why young Licky never had a fear. Say it once, say it twice, you gon' get peace. Anybody ever ask what happened with the bleach? Running from they almost had me wanna slip. Way back I almost started yeah. Around the same time, bumping till I first a tip. I ain't know who went harder, made me wanna celebrate. Now we in the game and I'm so busy from the bank.
looked at you like, dog, look where you came. I don't give a about, man, yeah, change. And let your style, and I need my change. DMV, I'm a of the year. Legging with my fears. Rapping, but I'm quiet when I'm near. Always plotting on the bitches and I'm plotting on my fears. We don't need no checks from the boys. We just need respect from the boys. We don't wanna fall in love by the force. So I just get the little re-drilling with the boys, yeah.
Squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad. Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But you stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad. Yeah, I go extra high for my entourage. Check my repertoire. Jim Jones, everywhere I go, you know it's reppin' time, it's reppin' time. When Latifah ready, when we set it off, we set it off. If they sleeping on me, I'ma wake them up, they fakers. I really do, I'm caking up, the rent is due. Plus I got my mama and my kiddies too, they growing up. Time is moving faster, what we wasting for, no holding back. Got a lot of proof.
Hold on now, this pick is trading teams.
I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Yeah, they gon' look at you.
The Texans are now on the clock.
But just stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. I've been reflecting on how we got this far, even when the pressure's on, finessing strong. Plus I got my team around me heavy, ain't no extra bros. You can keep them. Giuseppe's on delusional. Who gon' be there for you if you lose it all? Question that, who gon' have your mama back? Think about it, it's so much more to life, take advantage.
The Jets are now on the clock.
It be alright, we gon' run it, keep on business on sight. I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But just stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine.
Always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard these always talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm shining. They ain't seen it when I'm young, out here grinding. It's okay, yeah. Either way, young, getting paid, yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm poppin'. They don't wanna put some money in my pockets. It's okay, yeah. Either way, a hater always gonna hate, yeah. Mad at me cause I'm tryna feed my I'm supposed to make it out and I don't stay, yeah. I heard these always hating, said I never make it. I heard these always talking.
Let's go to Adam now, who has more on the Bears' last pick.
One of this draft's toughest players, here's a guy who played the majority of his final collegiate season with a broken foot. Long suffering with plantar fasciitis in the affected foot, doctors discovered several hairline fractures across the first, second, and third metatarsals during a routine therapy session. Translation? His foot was essentially shattered. Recovery took months, and he used the time wisely, studying film of just about every NFL team and preparing for interviews. No surprise that he blew scouts and even a few GMs away with his knowledge of NFL offensive schemes. This is an intelligent, hard-nosed defensive back who's going to make his fair share of big plays before his professional career is over.
In a break, feel like I'm in space. See a snake, kill a snake, get paid. Get left every day, so get your straight.
I heard these always hating, said I never make it. I heard these always talking with them.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
It's okay, it's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Mad cause I'm trying to feed my family. Why I gotta watch a friend more than an enemy? I had to stun on the dad I'm supposed to stunt with. Had to cut you off, you was on some dun. You was supposed to be my dog, why you hate on me? They say success turn your friends to some enemies. That is crazy. Cause it's shining, now you act shady. Yeah. But
the Vikings are now on the clock.
Mama told me you would show me your ways. Yeah. But I gotta check with him. I had the bands. Pull up in the land. Diamonds on me look like I heard these always hating, said I never make it. I heard these always talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Put a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me stare like second nature. Says disappear like second nature. On the same block like an hour later.
The London Monarchs are now on the clock.
Right. There's a spare play, but you're the phony type. J-Hut's ugly in it. Baby, 1 minute.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Yo, I started off gentle. My stroke game mental. My lifestyle eventful. I didn't mean to offend you. Fendi belt saying.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Moving wild and mental. I made another 5 this week. Your money playing hide and seek. I don't even.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
High and by. Slide up out
the Cowboys are now on the clock.
Doing styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Put a monkey on my feet.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Big make me stare like second nature. You're gonna do it, yeah, I haven't did it. I'm handling it, handy with it. Think I'ma do it, let that do it. Bang, stick jam like what happened to it. Was it not working, bruv? Why you think I'm lurking, bruv? Creep on him, lean on him. Witnesses eavesdropping, keep popping. They keep bopping like I ain't seen nothing. Don't make me upset. Reach for an object. Who's that in the passenger? Brown skin, got big body. In my face, on me. Money, I got that for me. You're not popping, never pop nothing. Stop bluffing. Your opinion, always destined for brilliance. Wouldn't rest on a million. Dressed as civilians. All them masked up looking creepy. Park up, jump out, jump in. Skirt out like it's too easy. If anybody like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Put a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my ear like it's second nature. Make me scared like it's second nature.
The Buccaneers have made their selection. What can we tell you about him? That's why we have Adam Schefter.
He's a very athletic defensive back, but if you watch his combine tape, you'll see why he's on defense and not a receiver. During the pass reaction drills at Indy, he had a hard time hauling in any of the passes thrown his way. Some passes he bobbled, some passes he missed by a fingertip, and at least one pass he flat dropped. He may be able to make a play on the ball with his agility, but I don't think he has the playmaking ability some teams want in their defensive backs. It'll be interesting to see how soon he gets on the field for this team early in the season.
It's in the genes, you know what I mean?
The Saints are now on the clock.
All the tax, all the tax, all
Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Put my problems in.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Checks come, my pockets looking blessed up. All the talking never stressed us. They talking like they jealous of me. They talking like they never love me. They talking like they next door. I still treat them like some. Showers on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Promises and wishes, candles.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Ain't no fingers let to count my blessing now. Promises and wishes, trust me, it's been different now.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Things I go missing now. Promises and wishes. Why would I ever start celebrating? Why would I ever start celebrating?
The Bills are now on the clock.
I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. The showers on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah.
The Houston Gunners are now on the clock.
Picture me putting my city all over the map. They wasn't believers, I had to get even and mad. We coming up, pulling up, jumping all over your grass.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
So tell them I got a new girl. Tell them that I'm begging, I want on my 50s in cash. I'm tired of living check to check. I need 20 models. This is Smiling in my grave, fresh to death. I've been Wu-Tang with a spectral deck. Getting, yeah, I got that I gotta just get off my chest. I cannot miss it, got last on my list and you next. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, but I think I might just skirt off. Blow the speakers and turn up. Pop up. Go to church with my shirt off. Tell the Lord that I'm here now. I've been waiting for so long.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Rules like there's no laws, and I did it for a long time.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
There's a long line. Nice to meet me. I think the pleasure's all mine. They've been clocking me so long, I think they lost time. Ooh, you lost. What you mean? Woo! What you mean? Woo! And now I'm just a so what you mean? Woo! Hold up. Whoa. What you mean? Woo! Hold up now. Don't know what you think it compare me to. Adrenaline popping, the blood will be leaking and running. Yeah. I do what I do, I don't care if you like it or love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm the bank and I want all my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge.
The Texans are now on the clock.
I just bought a cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense? Me and the devil got too much in common, I swear. Yeah.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw a hissy fit. Call up Cassie after she broke up with Diddy, yeah. I told Shorty if she talking, and she gon' call her friends up and we did, whoa. I ain't in the talking, go chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go fall for bridge. My black boys, I got boys that knock off your lid. I thought you gon' pop off, so hop off my. What you mean? I said, what you mean? Woo! Listen, I don't trust her. So, no, I said, what you mean? Whoa. I said, what you mean? Woo! You thought I was finished, you thought it was over. You thought I retired, you thought I went fishing with Kobe. I'm still as ill as considered as one of the coldest. Still a put a partner rapper here like Moses. I'm throwback like a molar roller. I'm cooler than a cup of yogurt. Black flag boy, truck soldier. I'm cool with laws and ayatollahs. Rap gods like Cyclops and Olga. I'm King Kong, ain't nobody told you. You think Rose still. And Barbara Brown about to go get. Paul McCartney, I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali, I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson, them baddest bag gon' get. What you mean?
The Bears are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Brooklyn Yanks are now on the clock.
As we go on, like we do. When it's hot out,
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
what you need, a little mind at ease, like that is. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze.
The Oklahoma City Nighthawks are now on the clock.
Baby, if you feel the same, let me know.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
You done made it to see a whole nother summer and it feel good. Stop now, top down through the neighborhood. Let the wind blow, open up the window. That girl is poison like Belleville DeVoe. We have a barbecue to do at 4. Swimming pool party in the back on the low. And the plates of food will be laid out for free. Little kids, get down. I have a bus pull up with Tommy the Clown to do the jerk. Go to work and do that dance that'll make your whole body hurt. Playing Bombardier, Common Clear. This that time of the year for everybody to be boisterous. Rock with Snoop Dogg and rejoice to this.
As we go on,
Vikings are now on the clock.
Sunshine in the summer breeze. Yes, yes, baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
Shined up my white walls, night falls. I'm feeling good. I'm doing things that you never would, like surfing with the sharks or shooting in the dark, riding on a bike with my grandson at the park. Evolve while I elevate, take flight, levitate, breakfast for dinner. I'm cold as but summer ain't the winter. Finna, bender, Kona, on a 3-wheel motion. I'm headed to the ocean, caravan full of cars, neighborhood stars. Up the boulevard we go till we can't go no more. It's me and mine, it's summertime. You go off and we go on.
As we go on, like we do, when it's hot outside. I wanna just chill with you. What you need, to make your little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer.
The London Monarchs are now on the clock.
Yes, yes, baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
Honorable C notes.
Yeah, little fish. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't ever say amen. Amen, amen, amen. Yeah, amen. That boys in that can't win. Can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona. Going up. Remember no was honest. We used to drive them Hondas. Now we pull up in the Fondas. Glow up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up. Glow up. Boy, don't touch. We flow up. Yeah. I'm laughing to the bank. All new blue Benny Franks. Pulled up on him in the tank. Yeah, that guy just a rap guy. I'm so mad flying. He ain't. Let me back. I gave me until I was going on. I'm Miami. They all cornballs. They can't stand me. I finesse. All them. I hear. Get a plan. Let's go that my whoa. Low. Got screen on yo. She post up a MCM and we like that JoJo. When we out and we see him, he always ask for photo. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. Please protect.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
And I won't ever say amen. Amen. Yeah, amen. That boys in that can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona. Going up. Remember no was honest. We used to
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Glow up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Boy, don't touch. We flow up. Yeah, she lucky.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
I walk up in demons, spin 10K just like it's nothing. I hang with the demons, they don't play by me, we cut. I was coolin', Atlanta.
The Saints are now on the clock.
I got Santa, I go monkey. All that. Gonna do just what I say. Pull up, fast as Uber in that race. She so bad, but she said.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't ever say amen. Amen. Yeah, amen. That boys in that can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona. Going up. Remember no was honest. We used to drive them Hondas. Now we pull up in the Fondas. Glow up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up. Glow up. Boy, don't touch. We flow up.
Colts are now on the clock.
Montana.
You know, I'm like, yeah, nice P, you know?
What up, Pink?
Man.
La música de Harry Fraud.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Man, you don't want with them, bro. Oh, you, and it better get low. Extorting, you ain't got no friends. Oh, they'll be for that like a Chanel scarf like rainbow. $1,000, this ain't your cloth. You ain't, that ain't no sauce. I can see the noodles made for poodles. I'm thinking about the love Ferrari.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
The option is the roof. Greens is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished. Please spit the juice. Y'all be vaping, I be maiden. Yes, y'all be aping. I'm Richard Mill Nation. No diamonds, just tourbillon facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Here's a little story about a kid from Iraq. Had to show Carlito.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Raindrop, offset. Plug, we the outlet. Child put me in the box, I'm in the box off. All the face shorty, socks off. Mac Miller, Reggie Miller, the killer, Canaries, back stiller, white villa, French vanilla, garage like a kill himself. Lauren Hiller, get up. Crib Calabasas on the hill. I had a morning plate.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Red carpet, Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homies rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Yeah, pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw.
Oh my goodness.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Crime. It's a shame they let us jump out of Bentleys with dirty vans. Hit the stage for 15 minutes, get 30 bands. Swiss bank counting clean money with dirty hands. With some hood that's ready to with the. Since I came in, it made my name a name brand. French. Paris clubbing like a caveman. We threw up the pyramids, now they say we Illuminati. I'm a tsunami, what the is a little yachty. No blood diamonds, I rock gold like a king. Jury so cold.
The Bills are now on the clock.
You think I'ma be some type of role model? I go full throttle, desperado, that's the motto. Vic in Chicago is Hugh Hef at the grotto. Brazilian model, she mean mugging like Frida Kahlo. Drinking it with an Alicia Machado. I'm the ticket, you just hit the lotto. Pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with
The Eagles are now on the clock.
so we know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw.
Oh my goodness.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Young Vic, the diamonds, finest. I shine like Puff Shine. Shines if I sign to the rock, cause I'm timeless. Top off the Mozzie, my behavior is mindless. On kids, we major, you minors. Fresh out the cell to the booth. Drop the roof, I'm still in the hood. Tell, shoot. Hope with a club. The judge, you rappers is false flagging, you a fashion. What's cuz, what you know about? What's Velo? Why Barry Lee, your head ringing? Free Vic Mensa, I'm a star, chain swinging. This that music, you can blame Reagan. I'm ball mayin' without paying. Y'all playing, we playing. My Himalayan. Gallardo, that's a sacrificial lamb. I'm seasoned cam, no matter, blam. Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh
the Vikings are now on the clock.
You. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Every other night I'm outside with the. You ain't got chips. The world, you got chips. You could the next man's girl. Sounds harsh, but they been ripped apart my world. The way Kiss told it should never be misquoted. The that you wave on the camera, we been toting. Selling love potion my whole rap career. So your streams and downloads could never match the kids. We could go foreign until it's boring. My sheep will keep jumping the fence until you're snoring. Street poetry, I'm more Wale for Lauren. Till the world is mine like Illmatic and Lauren. Written on a to a table full of fresh skin in the type of rappers we know. Got the right numbers on it. Burn the Carter down like I'm Nino.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Young Gerald. Yeah. Die line with the boom pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 212s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in the news now. Yeah. Lead a club with a few now. Just some Hollywood and they do. I'm in the mood now. 2 a.m. What you wanna do now? What you wanna do now? Little baby pass. Don't spill on me. That's Margella. Got this Oakland game to tell her. She look familiar. At Coachella, what's her name? Isabella, forget it, yeah. It's like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna function, got some places we could go. Lockjaw got me speaking slow like, I'm blessed. I don't GA. You tryna, yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less. Yeah. Say less. Hey girl, what it do? If you got friends, cool, bring a few through. No fun if the homies man. R.I.P. Nate Dogg, this too true. And you know what I'm down for. Round 2, round 3, and a round 4. Mood switch when she knocked at the front door. Next up was the uproar. Yeah, was like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna tuck off, got some places we could go.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Like wow, she's blessed, I'm blessed. I don't GA. You tryna yes on yes. Say less.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Say less. You ain't go. Say less.
Sheesh. What you saying? I don't understand. I'm out my mind. I popped. Sheesh. I swear this lockjaw got me stuttering. Girl, you not fall in love again. Sheesh. Get it. My favorite rush. You talkative, ain't gotta say too much. Be quiet. Who got some grapes? I'm trying to. I'm off both of these. Get it. Not complicated. No conversation. Get it. Not complicated. No conversation. Please say
The Texans are now on the clock.
Less, please say less.
I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I don't GA. I'm trying to. Yes on, yes on, yes on, yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't got, you ain't go. Say less. Say less. Say less.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Say less.
Like the way it sounds, Frody? Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe. It's too hot, drop the top off the wagon. Lay back, fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Out of here like I ain't that savage.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
At the studio with Michael.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Brooklyn Yanks are now on the clock. The Oklahoma City Nighthawks are now on the clock.
Give my heart to a I can just make a dance that goes with this song. Then I'm a
The 49ers are now on the clock.
basic gon' dance to it. Basic everywhere gon' dance to it. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Baby, shake that, shake that, shake that. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that. Shake it. I got 2 shows, I'm about to pitch another. Throwing alley-oops to my brothers. We all shine, nobody victims. I'm on these sweatsuits, black Pippins. I swag different. That's why the money in the bag different. Come up short, you have your fam. I lay on beaches and swerving whips. You ain't serving, you just an urban myth. Every day, get ride around Queens on the jet ski. It's me. Every day, get to the day I die. Every day, get man, I that and I that bouncing up and down. Nearly broke. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it.
The London Monarchs are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
Many draft experts speculated that the rigors of his college career were catching up with him and that his struggles were a result of playing through several nagging injuries and not an issue of talent drop-off. After some time off, he impressed with his raw numbers at the Combine, giving more than one GM confidence that his series of struggles was nothing to worry about. He'll likely be given the opportunity to challenge for the starting spot, making him someone to keep a close eye on throughout training camp and the preseason.
But I'm golden, yeah. We deserve Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve Whammies, they imposters. I be rolling with my project homies, it's a vibe. I just put the homie, it's a vibe. Over switch sides, it's a vibe, yeah. I gon' do it. I gotta accept that I'm a I pull up in several different options. That I will most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say. What? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled.
I've been rolling on the freeway. I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest. millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe. I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
Dig what I'm saying, Chanel drapes on me daily. Dig what I'm saying, sponsored by Mercedes. Dig what I'm saying, this Creek Cologne is on me, maybe. Dig what I'm saying, I'm going hard, yeah. I pop in your memory, You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy, I gave you real love out the gutter, Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I go through it, I gotta accept that I pull up in several different options, yeah. That I will most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. What? Gotta be on the think of I say. What? I can't feel my toes, but they gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled. Yeah.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Be giving up. You can't leave it's too much.
The Rams are now on the clock.
You, me on.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
It's gone. And I've been stuck in all your apologies. Gave my all, but you wanted more from me. Keep your love, it doesn't feel the same. I hope it hurts you when you hear my name.
I come here today to talk about how I feel, and I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of us doesn't mean anything to me.
It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long, yeah. It's just no way to deal with these problems alone. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got problems, yeah, but waiting no one way to solve them. I really came up from the bottom.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Hustling, man, I've been putting in these hours. The government been trying to take away what's ours. Really all about the money and the power. I just want to see my people in power. Tell me how we gon' shape this vision. Complaining all day, but in the same condition. If you want to make change, it's gon' take commitment. Some people enslaved by their religion.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
This is what I see through optics.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Get them on the list, and I've been on the mission. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got fights, yeah, but wouldn't know what good advice was.
The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock.
And I never sell my soul cause that's priceless. Tell me how we gon' make a living. Hustle on the block, who gon' save the children? Minutes on the plot and I'm just revealing. The media just trying to make a villain. I just take the pain and paint a picture. Voices in my head, I hear the whispers when I feel this way. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? It's just the way I feel. Mom's been racing so long. It's just the way to deal
really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm looking on restless. I said, Lord, help me. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. To be lucky, you help me, well. I said, Lord, help me. I said, Lord, help me.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Yeah, I've been since my early days. I've been stuck in my worldly ways. Propaganda, press, pan the camera. Please don't look at me in my face. Everybody might see my pain. Off the rail, might myself. Bored with life as aboard this plane. Steward this sex if I need.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Hopefully it still ain't been changed. Something about you make me not doubt you. I will silence my brain, scream louder. Asking when I'm gon' myself. Couple problems, my cash ain't help. Human issues too strong for tissue. False provider, war masked by wealth. Move your body if you came here to party. If not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and destruction's all I see. Out the sight, I'm out of my mind. The sound of sunshine is calling me. The vibrations is all I need. All I need, all I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move. Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. This is how we do. Deja view from a bayside view. I see black cats in the daytime too. I see black cats on the daytime news. When handcuffed, wrist and his skin turned blue. I met guy once at the rendezvous and felt starstruck.
Vince, the car's out front.
Got things to do, got
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
flight to miss you too, boo. First class seats is overrated. Won't go lest they overpay us. Nowadays I'm overdating. My is strict for the hurt. They well acquainted. Their morning is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need. All I need. All I need. Move your body.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Not then pardon me. How I'm supposed
The Falcons are now on the clock.
instructions all I see. Out the sight, I'm out in my mind. The sound of sunshine
The Texans are now on the clock.
is all I need. All I need. All I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. This is how we do.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock.
Adam, I know you have the inside scoop on Little here. What is it?
It seems every year draft experts put more and more value into a player's 40-yard dash time. So in his case, running the slowest 40 among skill position players definitely caught.
Do whatever get you paid, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cause, but I still low. Got 100 different to my cell phone. Still 33 for low. I'ma ride to my dog sitting in jail. It's that lighter on the grass, spin it back, roll. I'm on Keller, I'm on Bishop, I'm on Flat Shore. I'm at Magic, I'm at Valley's, let them go. Then it's right back to the Popeye. Kicking flavor with me, neighbor, yeah, we local. Rap the bottom, cause the bottom where we come from. Me no pray for little paper, need a lump sum. yeah. I'd rather be a broke, real, little rich. Fall in love with her. She just wanna be in VIP with her. Don't blame me, oh, they just shame me. Had to get it how I got it on my own 2 feet. Don't blame me, I'm what the game made me, not what the fame made me. I won't let it change me, I'm the same man.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Dirty sort of treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah. Roll it from the cradle to the grave, yeah.
On my hood, on my block, yeah. On my, I won't stop, yeah. Play with me, let it, yeah. Halo on me, Sailor Rock, yeah. Got me with school, keep one, move, you my little baby boo, girl. I love you like my favorite color blue, girl. Real spill, yeah. I'd rather be a broke, real, little rich. Fall in love with her. She just wanna be in VIP with her. Me, oh, they just shame me. Had to get it how I got it on my own 2 feet. Don't blame me, I'm what the game made me, not what the fame made me. I won't let it change me, I'm the same man.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Dirty sort of treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah. Roll it from the cradle to the grave, yeah.
I look up, so many.
Oh my God.
So many. I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices.
Straight up.
I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. What you telling me? I sense the jealousy, I got telepathy, I got the recipe, I got the streets and I don't got no felony. Forward thinking, yeah, my mind is ahead of me. Mama said it's gonna be whatever you let it be. It's some homies I grew up with that's dead to me. It's some that I just met in debt to me. What's in common is they both pay respect to me. I get in my way from Friday to Friday. My girl is a mix of Aaliyah and Sade. I came a long way from that Marvin and I pull out the driveway like I'm in a car chase speeding. And if my she know I'm leaving. No text, no call, but at airplane mode. Cold, no P code, no time to change clothes. Same clothes, love if you're living by the same code. G code, leave. Do that to me, back to my destiny. Penthouse, bird's eye view, that's a nest for me. I got myself out of debt, so when you see me, know you somebody I'll never need. Sacrifices. So many sacrifices.
Straight up.
I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life. But I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life.
Also, I done sacrificed the thug life. Diamond shining, ain't no dull light. Drop my top to get my mind right. Pull up in the Rari loud pipe. Them the dime, my wrist a Hyundai. Ooh, yeah, Gucci Python. Ooh, yeah, she play with her. Yeah, I bought that new charm. Pop on, I told her come see about me. Come on, come see me. The devil had entered my soul, my mama had beat it out. The devil, my mama had remember my grandma had told me you better be somebody. Hop in my seats massaging. Watch how I lead the posse. I made a M deposit.
Paid all these dudes with the game.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your strides for that stain. Sacrifice. Heard you sacrifice your life for that chain. Yeah. She sacrificed that money for white. Left hand got 3 rings. That's brum brum. We up one. Bad, dear savage. Take her to the mall and buy some. That's gonna wanna make your friends come. Make way with the timing. Tell me. Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? 10 toes, yeah, you gotta stay down, eh? Just some yawn, looking for a way out, eh? People watching, yeah, I gotta skip town, eh? Hit my phone if you need a hold.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I know my great auntie was a slave. I could only imagine all the sacrifice she made. I could only imagine all that she had to take. I'ma make sure all the she gave wasn't in vain. I sacrifice for your entertainment, boy. I'm Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. Check the last name, it's all facts. In the human race, it's all about pacing. Look at all the ones I outlasted. I'm the one at the end, like I count backwards. Never satisfied, details classified till the afterlife. Make a sacrifice down.
Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice?
愛してよ私を抱いてよねそばにおいでよ私の最後の記憶に君の愛を残したい
Polo to the flow though, you already know though. It's Adamville for real, you see ya, just take a photo. I'm reppin' that's on photo with a on your bro though, cause that Jodo thought that he could rob a player for some dodo. Oh no, also Allen Temple, also England Mountain, also Misty Valley, and I got a couple yesterday out of Cali. And my bag from the valley bought me brand new balance. Bet I'm playing with a no American dream, dusty roll. Man, she been riding since her daddy rode on bold. I done in every hole, telling every I ain't with my wife, but if she meet her, might be a go. Rick Flair flashing, don't I look dashing, don't I look classy, don't act so sassy. I'm the man, boo. That's with or without you. With what your say, show me what that.
I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say lonely at the top, but this the best. Hey, don't you see me out here shining